Hello, I'm John Isaacs. I'm here at WhiteBox on Manhattan's Lower East Side with the artist Biliana K and WhiteBox founding director Juan Puntas. To discuss Biliana's current show, we're seated in the gallery here on the lower floor of the art space. And this is the third time you've shown at WhiteBox, I think.
Yeah.
Over quite a few years.
Well, over a decade.
When did you start?
The first show was in 2002, and it was my first show in New York. That was given to me by Juan. At
A performance?
At the performance, yes. Effervescent Paintings performance.
And musical piano.
And musical
Water piano.
Yeah, exactly. A magical instrument. It was all about disappearance. And here we are, over a decade later, reaching the ultimate disappearance.
But there was a show in between.
There were shows in between,
How
exactly.
did that relate to the development of your work?
It related in a way that I was working with digital paintings and images, and this was the progressive process of destroying the image as such. And it fit perfectly in the narrative to arrive to the point of a non-visual representation of reality.
And that's your intent here in this current exhibition, yes?
I have reached this ultimate stage of disappearance of the art object, of the art body. And this is exactly why we are here today.
Now, that sounds very obscure to me, so I think you need to be a bit more down to earth about how you describe what it is we've got here. What, for example, are these, and what do they do? And can you explain that first? What happens when you arrive in this space?
The space is the idea of the exhibition is to ultimately dematerialize the gallery. And that's why I'm here, because Juan told me, yes, you can do that.
That was very good of him.
Yes.
Well, if I may inflect something very important there, I found the most appropriate time to combine her show and the project space, which is dedicated to WhiteBox Lab, in general, technology, media, etc., as Fred Forrest, who invented communication art, according to Pierre Restany, in the 60s.
Exactly.
They merged together at the same time. I thought from the beginning of communication art, which is new media and so forth, to the one who wants to disintegrate the whole process and evanesce even the space, I thought it would be very consequential.
That sounds very logical. So what happens here?
In itself, nothing happens here. It's a dead gadget. What happens is that we have a totally dematerialized body of an artwork, which is called digital sculpture in augmented reality application, and that can be visualized and exist entirely in a format as an app. So it inhabits a realm beyond any time and space. You can have it on Google App Store, on Apple Store, but the actual artwork, you can connect to it, you can visualize, and you can interact exclusively on a 21st century platform, which is the technological platform of the digital universe. As such, it puts in question the materiality and the integrity of the traditional art world platform, as a gallery, as a museum, as a conservation practices.
Where do the images originate? What is a digital transformation engine, for example?
The digital transformation engine is the core of my work and of my company, where the aim is to transform data as a technical entity into artwork as an artistic identity. Let me
ask Juan, as a gallerist, is her project a threat to your own project?
Well, first
If she's undermining the physicality of artwork?
First, I will correct. I'm not a gallerist.
Excuse me, a curator.
I'm a curator by force, not by trade. Blame Caroline Schneemann and Michael Snow for that, who actually they have a bit to do with the transition between the Fred Forrest type or archetype to the Biliana archetype, right? So since we have always been, our penchant has been for taking risks, for not knowing what the hell may happen, a little bit like Vicente Todoli when he was asked, coming to Tate Modern by Art Forum in the New York Times to New York magazine and publications, super respectful but conservative as well. What are you going to do in the next 5 years? And he said, if I knew that, I would not leave Portugal and come to Tate. So I take the same predicament, maybe it's my Spanish tongue-in-cheek attitude, that I said, okay, sounds interesting. I don't have a hint of what it is until I see it. Thomas and Jesus, the both guys I like. So I said, all right, let's. The only thing I think I'm good at is a bit like Fernando Castro Flores. He said, what the hell do I know about anything? I read, I look, I listen, and then I put things together. I'm like the Jewish mother in the art arena. I said, let's see what cooks when I put these two characters together. And then is when I learn, or not, the consequences of the choice of bringing a space to someone who wants to dematerialize it. It's the Houdini act, maybe.
Well, you're taking your Houdini act all over the world at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
What's the reception from connoisseurs of the art world and from average folk? How do they react to the project?
It can be more opposite as a reaction. The only reception that was organic and like taking the risk in the most organic and natural way was his reaction. And he perfectly explained why, you see. And there was not even a hint of a threat. You dematerialize the gallery, fine with me. Outside the context of WhiteBox, it's a completely different story. In the moment I say I use data to make art, I pretty much lose everybody. Because data does not communicate anything to somebody that is really cultured, informed, and been living in the art world.
Let me ask you on that subject.
Yeah.
How do you monetize the project? If there's no physicality, if there's nothing specifically to...
and no reception in the art world. In fact, I don't. And this is where, this is it. So I said, my God, I have to change platforms. I'm just in the wrong place at the wrong time. I'm trying to monetize and to present an artwork that belongs to another platform, the platform of digital universe. So I took the decision to go to the tech world and present my artwork as an artwork product and to treat the consumer as a collector.
I think it's a perfectly valid forecast in this day and age that in due course art may well become all dematerialized. And that it may exist only in digital electronic form. Do you think that's a likelihood as a leading the charge on this one?
Certainly, and it's going to be, it is already dramatic, it's going to be even more dramatic. What, however, the fundamental thing of connected art is to put together the human experience, art, and technology. So, the data I use is fundamentally linked to a human experience. We do not extract data. I do not extract data as a technical entity, but as a human entity. And this is where I crush it and transform it into an art entity.
So as I understand it, what you're trying to do in essence is to humanize technology at the same time as you technologize art. Is that a correct assumption?
That's a totally correct assumption. Yes, exactly. And it comes down to the magical word, which is anthropotopic.
Anthropotopic?
Work of art, which came up in a conversation 2 years ago when I was presenting the project to Juan, and we were talking in a cafe in the Lower East Side, and I was talking about the digital anthropology project, and that using data to make art, it's a fundamentally human approach towards technological entity. And we are talking about this combination between being able to dematerialize the artwork in order to bring it, which is a fact today, to bring it to every human being on Earth. And this is where the utopia come in. And this is where he put the two things together that formed a new word.
Well, he's a utopian.
It's yeah, and it's the essence and it's the base of connected art. This.
What I like about it is it becomes not a democratic principle, but a populist principle, or the populace, without being populist in the sense of nationalism,
Yes.
or the new populism that is breaking away countries, peoples, etc. Here, under Trump, in Europe all over, etc. So I think that kind of dichotomy, that is a perplexity in itself. I like the populism built into that humanistic approach, because it's about us humans and the anthro-humanistic, perhaps. So I like that kind of, and my idea is always to raise hell, to pull everybody's legs, to keep the carpet moving, and because art is not supposed to bring us answers, but it's to bring us questions. And an element of doubt must persist. So I see in this, controversial, perplexed concoction something interesting. Then I'm looking at the smoke to see what happens. If it goes into steam and disappears, if it goes into different molecules of existence, how we, the viewer, is going to take it and interpret it. I don't know. That's what it's exciting about.
Well, we shall see indeed. Thank you so much, both of you. A fascinating subject. I wish you well with the project, Biliana, and Juan. I hope the show is a great success for
Thank you.
WhiteBox.
Thank you.
Thank you, Juan. Thank you, John.